Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So in this video we're going to talk about this full moon lunar eclipse here happening in Libra. So it is eclipse season, so this is the first one. Let me just go to the chart here. So if we take a look here, with this eclipse we'll kind of start with aspects to the sun. I'll kind of go over all of this. But again, this is kind of relating, especially with the sun here in Aries, moon here in Libra. And remember, eclipses happen when the sun is close to the nodal axis here. So when these full moons and new moons are close to the nodal axis, is when these happen. So this one you can see is within about a 10-degree range. So we're dealing with a lot of eclipses are known as like faded energy and stuff, but this is like really intensified here on these full moons and new moons, right? So if we're going to take a look, we'll start off with the sun here. So we're going to have the sun in sextile to Pluto here in Aquarius, as well as we've got minor aspects here to Jupiter and Uranus, as well as this triseptile here to Juno in Virgo. Juno retrograde in Virgo, sorry. So what I feel like is going on here still is we're still dealing with these aspects of our own identity, aspects of our own value, our own self-worth, aspects of our uniqueness in that sense, and finding balance with that within our relationships and within our partnerships, right? Releasing these aspects of codependency, working to change our committed relationships in a sense that we're able to experience our own individuality within those relationships and not over compromise, not sacrifice ourselves for the other and for the relationship, to respect the individuality of each person within the relationship, respect our own individuality, recognize our own worth, but allow that to happen as well for the other person in whatever relationship this is as well. So what I mean by that here is, so the sun sextile Pluto. So Pluto is giving power to this rebelliousness, this uniqueness, this how do I say this? Our own unconventional aspect of our own self. Let's put it that way, giving power to that area, right? And I say rebelliousness in that sense as it's rebelling from maybe what would consider to be quote unquote normal in a lot of ways. So with the sun in Aries here, we're dealing with our self-identity, this aspect of self. This can deal a lot with the masculine energy as well. We have Chiron in Aries healing that wound. We can get more into that in a second here. But this sextile, we're dealing with this transformation of self, but regarding our own uniqueness, our own individuality in that sense. The sun is also here. It is semi-square to Uranus, as well as novile to Jupiter. So with this novile here, we are learning. The novile is just giving birth to something. We are learning to expand our own value and our own worth regarding this aspect of self, our uniqueness, and our individuality. Especially as this Jupiter and Uranus are moving into conjunction. There could be more relating to that as well, but I'm focusing specifically on this eclipse here. I will talk more about that conjunction when it's going to occur. Right, so with this novile, again, expanding, we're learning to expand regarding these aspects of self and our own value and our own worth. And that does or will most likely result in this letting go of these outdated aspects of codependency, of relationship dynamics, and those types of things. And this could not just romantic relationships, but regarding the people around us and all of that kind of stuff, right? There's this triseptile here to Juno retrograde in Virgo. So again, Juno is dealing with our partnerships, our committed partnerships. But this can also deal with contractual partnerships and contractual things. So this could happen also on a business level as well. It's not just necessarily personal. But what this is with these septiles, this is almost like this faded aspect of something really coming through from some other kind of space or somebody else pulling the strings in a lot of ways regarding these aspects of these partnerships, these committed partnerships and contractual partnerships. In Virgo, this is dealing with it in a practical sense, or really tending to look at the details of these contractual partnerships is mostly what I feel like this is. But how that relates to ourselves and our own identity and how that is expressed within these areas. So there's something coming through here. Juno is retrograde, so we're looking over these areas and trying to rework these kinds of things. And I feel like whatever isn't able to be reworked is likely going to have to get let go of. So I'm not saying that relationships are going to need to be let go of. If it's a good relationship, or whatever, it would likely be able to be changed in some way, reworked to understand and unconditionally love each other for that aspect of individuality and sense of self. But if that can't happen, then it's likely going to be. And I say that because we're going to have Venus here. So Venus also on this day is going to peak in its semi-square to Pluto here. But Venus is also making a quincunx to the south node here and semi-sextile to the north node in Chiron. So Venus is in Pisces. And is also in opposition here to Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, where we have felt outcast with a semi-sextile to Chiron, where we wanted to heal these aspects of ourselves, looking at these details, where we felt these ideals of perfectionism, especially as it exists within our relationships, right, that need to be let go of. What about ourselves? There's a semi-square to Pluto here in Aquarius. What about ourselves? What about giving power to that uniqueness, that individuality of our own selves within that? Venus is also here still in sextile to Jupiter, building in sextile to Uranus. Again, this is dealing with our own expansion of value and worth, our own uniqueness, shaking things up in that sense, and shaking things up in terms of our relationships as well. This opposition here to this Black Moon Lilith, as well as Venus being in Pisces, this is very mutable energy, meaning it's changeable. It's either changeable or it's coming to an end, possibly in some way. And with this quincunx to the south node, it's either something will need to be integrated within our relationships, within the other people that we deal with in our lives, or it may have to be let go of in a sense. Right? So there's this changeable, there's this mutable, and these eclipses are happening in cardinal signs, which is moving forward in a new direction. So there's lots of change that needs to occur to move forward, or a letting go that needs to occur to move forward with a lot of the energy that is occurring here. And this is really healing this wound of self. This is also healing this wound possibly of the masculine side of ourselves in balancing out this type of energy as well. But I really feel like there's a focus here on ourselves, respecting our own individuality, our own uniqueness in the sense, and moving forward into that kind of direction, right? So, and then if we can also take a look at the moon here, the opposite end of the sun, of the other side of this eclipse, basically. So we're going to have the moon here in trine to Pluto again. So we're dealing with these aspects again. This sesqui-square to Uranus here in Taurus. Again, dealing with these aspects of our own value, our own worth, and our own uniqueness and individuality. With this sesqui-square to the moon in Libra, if our relationships are not able to, relate with that, either we have to let them go or we have to deal with trying to balance out these aspects of, get rid of these aspects of codependency. This is like almost like it's known as a square and a half, a sesqui-square. So it's this square energy pushing for this resolution to whatever this conflict is regarding our own value and our own worth, to our uniqueness that exists here and within our relationships. And this could be emotionally as well. That really may need to be looked at, possibly also on a subconscious level, in order to be dealt with in some way. And a lot of this is likely going to be dealing with releasing these aspects of codependency here with this full moon eclipse in Libra. Right? Also on this day too, we're going to have Mercury in sesqui-square to Juno retrograde. So like I said, this is bringing an awareness to a lot of our committed partnerships or committed relationships, looking at the details of these things, fixing a lot of these things as it relates to our own self and our own self-identity. Mercury here is still conjunct Chiron. We're looking to heal this stuff, right? There's this novile to Saturn here in Pisces. So there's this idea of this dissolution of these structures of this control that once existed in that sense. We're learning to move forward to bring an awareness to this healing, is that these old ways that we've done this stuff, it needs to be dissolved, and it's pushing through. We need to look at the details of things to be changed, to be moved forward and work forward in some way. Again, guys, I'm sorry, I'm running out of time here. I could definitely say a lot more about this, but I think that really gives the gist of this eclipse. So thank you for watching. And remember, we're dealing with a lot of changeable energy here, moving forward in new directions, and a lot of change and stuff still happening and occurring. So thank you. Happy eclipse. Have a great day. Bye for now.